Good morning or good evening, depending on where you are. It looks like I'm live. Perfect. I'll just check my settings before I come live. Make sure that everything is looking fine. I think it's looking okay at that end. I think we are good to go. All right, let's see who's on this morning. Got someone else watching. Where are we? Here we are. Good morning. All right, I've been frantically cleaning the white paint off everything, the white acrylic paint that I managed to splatter absolutely everywhere. I think I've got it. Oh no, you can still see it in my hair. Oops. I'll have to go on. Oops, the days. I didn't get that out very well, did I? Hello, Brenda. So I was preparing. I have everything set out on the table, and something that we're doing today involves white craft ink, and I was giving some different options. So I pulled out an old tube of white acrylic paint, and then it was clogged, and I was trying to unclog it, and I gave it, and I'm sort of looking down at it like this and gave it a little extra squeeze, and I went, and it's gone over me, in my hair, on my glasses, all over my keyboard, my computer screen, everything on the desk got absolutely splattered with white acrylic paint. So instead of being really prepped for today, I've been busy taking all of the white acrylic paint off everything. As you can see, haven't quite got it out of my hair yet. Oh, it's everywhere. Oh dear. Oh, never mind. That'll be a fix-it job later. So who have we got? Barb and Brenda. Hello, hello. So yes, that is my little drama-filled story this morning. I've always got a drama-filled story, haven't I? Hello, Sharon. How are you? And Sharon's going to check my sound, and also when I jump over to the other screen, she'll check if I'm on the right camera for me. So yes, you've got me. I cleaned my glasses, but I did it a bit haphazardly, and now I don't know whether it's the computer screen that's still got a smear all over it from the white, or whether it's my glasses, but something's not very clear. Lucky I have my glasses on, that's all I can say. I would have had eyes full of white acrylic paint, then we would have been in trouble. All right, so today we are creating my swaps, or the prototype for my swaps. Now, I have created them already, but we're going to change them up, and I'm going to ask a little bit of advice along the way as to what else should go on them, if anything. We're using the little mushroom dies out of the Sweet Bugs. Yes, the Sweet Bugs dies. We're not actually using the stamp set at all, not even for the sentiments, although the sentiments are quite cute. They're a little big for what I'm doing, so we're going to use another set for that. All right, let's get started. I'll put some light on, because I think we've got enough people here now. Put a little bit of light on. Oh, right. Change over to the screen, desktop. Now that looks okay to me. I will get Sharon to check that, but it looks okay at this end. I'm just actually going to plug my phone in so it doesn't go flat, and hopefully that doesn't affect anything. Just bear with me, because sometimes it does, but it doesn't look like it has. Sometimes it wants to. This device is currently in, see, I told you. So let me just select this device in camo. I think this is what might have happened the other day, Sharon, when we went strange. So I'll just select that over here. Hopefully it will come back. We'll get our camera back. I think that's good to go. We'll wait for YouTube. There we go. So now I'm definitely in the right screen. There's no phone markings. I think we're good. Sharon. Excellent. Looks good. Yeah, it's gone. Yeah, that's just it comes through a different feed when I plug the phone in to picking it up on the Wi-Fi. So maybe that's what I did the other day. I plugged it in and didn't actually physically go and change it over. So yeah, maybe. All right. Okay, so these are the cards that I've made already. So I've got imperial and metric written over here because I'm going to totally confuse myself today and create them the opposite way round. So I've got this here as a little reminder. I'm going to try and keep all of the metric stuff on this side, imperial stuff on this side. I'm already confused. And the metric stuff on this side. So this is, I had hoped to have a lot more done in advance today, but we're just going to run with it and see how we go. They're quite simple. Can you see the white paint? The little splatter, you can see them there. It's over everything. It's over everything. I don't know quite how it managed to do that. Just it's over everything. It's over the other monitor. Oh, I've just found it all over the other computer. Oh dear. Anyway, there's a big blob here, which I'm figuring I'm going to have to cover over with something. But anyway, so I've done that one in the imperial sizing. And this one in the metric sizing. So the reason this came about is because I did this little thingy and then I had this bit left over in the middle and I thought, well, I could use that. I'm not just going to put it away for another day because you know that other day never comes. So I'm going to use both parts of that. But today I'm going to create this design in the imperial sizing and this design in the metric. I do have some ladies coming. There are ladies coming from the US to Onstage. And I figure these will be nice to give them a card in their own sizing. So that will be good. I'll have a couple in the imperial sizing that I can give to them. Paint splatters and all. All right, so let us get started. We have a thick basic white, which has paint all over it. Oh, they're the bits that go with it. Thick basic white cardstock folded in the imperial and a thick basic white card folded in the metric, also with paint all over it. They'll be covered, so we'll be fine. Right, so now this one's going to have some blending done to it. This one has somewhere, where did I just put it? A sheet of card that I'm going to emboss, and I'm going to use that striped lines embossing folder. Or lovely stripes, I think it's called. Yes, I've written on it this time. Organised or washed. Anyway, it's a 3D folder, so I'll need my specialty plate. This one is quite an indented design. And so what it does is it creeps the paper in. So whatever measurement you are using, make your lengthwise measurement a little bit longer so that you don't end up with uneven borders if you're using it in the background like I am here. So I've cut this piece to 4 inches across, but it's the full length of the card. It's the 5.5 inches long. I'll put it through. If it is still a little bit long, it's easy to cut a little bit off the end, but you can't put it back on. So I'll quickly just emboss this and we'll see how far up it creeps. So I'll just line it up so the stripes are straight and we'll run that through. Let's see how much it crept up. Quite a bit, but not quite enough. So I will just trim a little bit off one end, and I'll probably trim it off this end. So I'll grab my trimmer. And just trim a little bit off. I'm just guessing here. You could measure it if you like, but I'm just going to guess about that much, I reckon. Let's see. If it's not right now, then it's too bad. That's what's going on there. Okay, so now that's a bit better. We've got sort of more even borders all the way around the edge. So that's the easy bit done, and I'm going to glue that on before I go any further, because otherwise I'm already getting confused. I don't know why I choose to confuse myself this way. Oh, which side do you want up? This sort of use the dots up. I think I like the dots up better. Yes, dots up. So we'll pop our glue. Now, one word of warning here too is this embossing folder, because it's got lines on it, it may be just me, but I found that it shot my glue off off the edge. So if you're using liquid glue, just be careful, because I did end up with glue everywhere when I did this one, because it's sort of, the lines shoot the glue off in one direction that you're not expecting. And it sort of goes whoosh. I'm doing a lot of whooshing and stuff going everywhere at the moment. Not quite straight, I'll just jiggle that down a little bit. There we go. So that's my background. Now I could have inked that, I could have, you know, added something to it, but I haven't at the moment. Maybe I will in a minute, I'm not sure. Now that I've got it on the card's probably not a good idea, but we'll work that out. So that's the background for this one. So we'll also need for this one, got all the things in the wrong places. In here. The arch, we're going to make this arch piece. So you'll need 3 bits. So I've cut this to be 7 centimeters by 10, I believe, or 10 and a half. 10 and a half. 7 by 10. And I've cut a white piece, just in basic white, the same size. Now, because we're using the arches dies, it'll be a similar measurement in like a number for number measurement. So that works out to be 2 3/4 inches by 4 1/8 of an inch long. And because the arch is the same size, we need the same. And then I've got another piece of white, which is just a little bit, so I cut it the same size basically, and then I cut just a little bit off. Can you see that that is just slightly smaller? That's going to go in the background, and it's just easier if it's slightly smaller to glue on without having any edges show. So we're going to die cut that with the, with the Everyday Arches die, and it is the size that I'm using is the 4th one in from the middle. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Use that one. I'm going to place these 2 bits together and cut them together. Now that seems to work well and cut through for me. I am going to use a little bit of my removable tape just to make sure that it stays in the middle. So we will do this. And so you can tell what I'm going to be doing over the next few nights is lots and lots of die cutting. So I've already started with the mushroom bits. But even just the people that I'd like to give cards to without including my swaps is quite a substantial number of people. Right. So we've got this outside bit which can be glued together, and that just, the only reason that I'm doing that is because this is popped up on dimensionals, and designer series paper on its own is quite flimsy to be on dimensionals, so I like to add a backing to it. So that will glue together. And then you've got this one, which sort of feels like it's glued together already, but it's not. It's just been, the stitches have been pressed together. So you've actually got to remove, make them come apart. Break those stitches so that they come apart. And then we'll glue that together. Feel how that was so together, but you know what, if you left them and didn't glue them, for sure the front would fall off my card before I even got to Onstage. Now, glue, here it is. So let's glue these pieces together. So this one can be glued to here. So who on here is going to Onstage? Brenda, are you going to Onstage? You're a demonstrator, aren't you? You were Stampin' Up. Yes, it was a beautiful card, Barb, that Brenda sent. I totally agree. It was gorgeous. And it was just so exciting to get mail from Canada. My husband was like, mail from Canada? All right, now that one is glued on. Liquid glue, I don't know. Liquid glue suits me so much better because nothing's ever straight, so it's so good to be able to just wriggle it around till it's right. One's glued together. Let's glue this one. Now I'm using different colours today. This is Shy Shamrock. Here is Granny Apple Green, but you know what I'm like, I hate using the same colours twice. Now I will use the same colours twice for some of my swaps, and I do have some cut out already. but after about 10 I get bored and I want to change the colours up. So this one is Shy Shamrock. Shy Shamrock is one of the in colours that's going to be finishing soon, and really I don't think anyone really has used it enough, so I'm using it here. So they're the two pieces, they're glued together. Now this one is going to go on this time on the Imperial card. So that one is going to go there. You can see it fills up quite a bit more space than this one does. You could put it down there like that, but I'll put it in the middle. So it actually fits better in that one, in the Imperial. And this one is going to go onto the metric size card. Right, now let me just, what have I got this piece of card here for? Oh, that was to go on the back of this. Okay, so we're not going to glue that on yet because we're going to decorate that. So we'll decorate that piece. Move that out of the road now. And we need to do the background for this one. So I'm doing the background in one of the mushroom colours that I'm using. So I'm going to leave that until we come to the inking stage because then I'll use the ink pad while it's out. But for this one, the next step here, actually we might go ahead and do the mushrooms because there is the step with the acrylic paint that does need a little bit of drying, and I'm probably going to have to use my heat tool to help dry my dots because I didn't get a chance to get them done ahead of time. So I'll just keep all these bits together and I'll put them over here and we'll grab out the pieces that we're going to do some inking on. So I've got 4 pieces just of white card. Now I'm using quite large pieces of white card for this. If you're just making one of the, or you're making 2 because you'd make one with the outside arch and one with the inside bit, but you don't really need this much. But because I'm doing swaps, I am going to use the colours, these pieces for my swaps. So, but you could even go with half of this, and I may even just do half now because we may run out of time, but we'll just run with that. The colours I'm going to use to ink with are going to be Basic Beige, which is the base of the stalk of my mushroom. I'm going to use Darling Duckling, Melon Mambo, and Timid Tiger. So those 3 colours will be my mushroom colours. Now I've chosen to go bright, whimsical. That's just how we're going. Now I've got some blending brushes here. Let's see, I'm actually not even sure if this one is, if we don't want that one, that's the green. We don't want the green yet. I'm going to do Timid Tiger. So do I have a brush for that? Maybe. Okay, we'll grab some blocks for these colours. So we've got a little bit of Darling Duckling and a little bit of Melon Mambo. Hello, Fiona. Yes, the white dots. The white dots will be forever haunting me. You'll still see me with white paint in my hair at Onstage, Fiona. Yes, I figured I haven't really used the mushrooms enough, and mushrooms are my thing. So, or toadstools or whatever they are. I say mushrooms, but they're really toadstools, I think. Well, mine definitely are. So yes, Sophie will be at Onstage. We'll catch up with her. That's amazing. Brenda says she is a demonstrator, but you're not going to Onstage. Oh, well, we'll have to share lots with you, Brenda. Now, I really did have hoped to have some videos pre-recorded for next week and the week after, but I may have to. Maybe I could do a live at Colleen's place. That's probably a good idea. It would be a good idea, wouldn't it? So I may only miss 1 week. All right, what have I got here? Did I bring in a Basic Beige blending brush? No, bear with me, I'll grab it. Okay, let's do the Basic Beige first because, you know, it's such a nothing colour. Now, I'm just going to apply ink to this basic white, oh dear, jeans, basic white card. And I'm probably going to need more than that. And I'm being rough. I'm not even trying to make it a blend. I'm just really applying some ink colour. I could do it just by actually applying the ink pad to the paper, but it might be a little bit dark. So this gives you lots of texture, some light areas, some dark areas, and I love it because, you know, and that's why it's so good for swaps, because you really don't have to be precise. You're just adding some colour onto some paper. This. That will do. We are going to add a little bit of stamping, so that will do. Sorry about the rocking. That's my old wooden floor. Not playing nice. Next up, we've got, we do Melon Mambo. No, we will do the light one because I'm going to make a big mess here. Ooh, brand new. Can't believe I didn't have a Darling Duckling ink blending brush. So same thing. Oh, look at that. There's something about Darling Duckling. A lot of people don't like Darling Duckling. I really like it. It's almost a fluorescent colour when you use it at full strength. So in reality, the Dirty Duckling name that people are calling it, which is what I used to call it when it first came out, is not appropriate because it is such a bright, intense colour. It's got a little bit of mood to it, I will admit, but I love that. Right, that will do. And as you can see, it doesn't need to be perfect. Timid Tiger's next, and I also couldn't find a Timid Tiger blending brush. So I'll bring this one in. And these are nice bright colours. You can see I'm really just putting the colour down. The more blotchy it is, the better. So this is a great way to, because you can see we're going to mess this up in a minute even further. So I need just a touch more ink, I think. I should have got bigger blocks out, shouldn't I? Oh. Jeans. I really should wear an apron when I'm crafting, but I forget to put it on. I've got such lovely aprons here. People have given me over the years. Luckily, our inks are pretty water soluble. They'll wash out in the wash. I'm hoping that I leaned over on the craft table at class here the other day and leaned into an open ink pad, so I now have a lovely big ink pad mark on my shirt. I'm really hoping that comes out. And the last one is the Melon Mambo. Oh, look at all that texture. Melon Mambo is one of those very intense colours that stain your photopolymer stamps. It's just so intense, but delicious. See if I can get all of that ink off there. Add some darkness up to this end. Whoops. Okay, I'm rushing a bit now because I really would like to get finished in a reasonable amount of time. Okay, so they're going to be our mushrooms, but I want to add a little bit of extra inking to that. So get rid of my mushrooms that I've already cut. So I'm going to just bring in what have I got here? I've got a sheet of paper that it's just a folded sheet of paper that I was using earlier. I'm going to bring these in here like this because I'm going to add some extra ink, and you know, it doesn't really matter. I've got white paint everywhere. Why not have ink colour everywhere? But I really don't want to deliberately do that. So these are the 3 blocks I had before. So I will just add a little bit of ink, just a little bit more to each of those. Don't need very much. A little bit of yellow. and I'm going to splatter. So I've got here some water. This is why I put the back guard up. Some water, and I've got a couple of different size paintbrushes, but I think we'll use the small one. So that's a little small size like that. And I'm just picking some water up, and I'm going to make a gloopy mess. We'll do this one first. Now, I'm not really worried if different colours get on here. It just makes the mushrooms more interesting. But I am going to grab a tool. Now, I've got cards here that I will just move right out of the road. Mushrooms here, but you know, I might just actually grab another bit of paper somewhere here. She says in jest, put that down over there. Right, now I'm going to tap that colour. I've filled this up with the colour from here. I'm just going to tap it. It's going on here, I really don't care. Same with this one. Bit of darkness. Same on this one. Get these out of the road. Okay, now I'm just going to, these are all wet. I'm just going to move these up out of the road. We'll move these over into here just for a second while I do the beige one. So we will need, I had a block with beige on it, didn't I? I wonder what I did with that. Here it is. And we'll do the same thing. Actually, I'm going to add crumb cake. Oh, look, got orange. Doesn't matter. We didn't die cut with these, so you know you can pick and choose where you're going to die cut. So same thing. So this is crumb cake, so it's a bit darker. Because my experience is that the beige doesn't make a dark splatter at all. So we'll use the darker. Oh, look at that. And these are going to be my stems, so I want a bit of texture on those. Right, now, got some paper towel here. I'll take that off. And I'm going to bring back in these ones. And I've sort of started to dry. They've got a little bit of dark splatter on them now. Now I'm going to, I don't need that anymore. I'm going to add some water splatter to make some lighter areas. So I've picked my brush up. It's got lots of water in it. So some of the splatters are going to be quite big, like that one, and some of them will be smaller. And you want quite a bit of texture. So normally I have this box that Stampin' Up! Used to produce once that folds down to nothing and goes back together and, you know, folds up into a flat shape but makes a box. And I pull that out normally because it's got 3 edges to it and a base. I say normally, but you know, I don't also sometimes. But you can see, can you see the water reacting there now? And we're getting different patterns. So just keep doing that till you're happy with the level of splatter. I like lots of splatter, as you can tell. And then we're going to do the same thing with the crumb, well, it's basic beige with the crumb cake splatter. So that darker stuff has dried a bit. We'll just add some lighter. And as it dries, now depending on how heavy you are, because this is basic white cardstock, it will bubble. It makes it rough. And you know what? That makes your little mushrooms all the more interesting. So you can see that's where I've gone quite heavy. If you were to feel that, it feels a bit rough. But that's fine. Now I may have to dry these with a heat tool. I'm going to set them aside for just a minute while I sort myself out here. We can get rid of this now. Done all that messy stuff. And I'm just going to find my heat tool and I will dry them off with my heat tool so I can go ahead and die cut the mushrooms. Move my water right out of the road. So I've got this heat tool here, which the cord is now, you know, sitting on top of everything. So make sure that it's not going to drag in anything. Cheryl, she's saying to herself. The colour, you like the colour mix, Fee? Or my haphazard way of colouring these pieces? Okay, let's get this dry. Excuse the noise. Hopefully it's not too loud. And hopefully you can hear me over the top of that. So it needs to be reasonably dry to go through the die cut machine. Otherwise it will just make a raggedy edge. Look at all that. Can you see that? How delicious is that? There's just something about colours that I love to see the way different colours react differently. Every colour blends differently. Like, look how blotchy this one is. This one was pretty blotchy, but it looks good now. Because, you know, it's got so much other stuff on it. This is a bit wet here. But I don't know if you can see, that's gone quite bubbly there. But that's fine, it just adds a different mood to your mushrooms. I could have used the Fluid 100 watercolour paper, which would have given me probably a bit more of a cohesive or watercolour sort of look. And it reacts totally differently because it soaks everything up. But because I was doing these for swaps, watercolour paper is quite expensive. So I'm a cheapie, so I thought I'm not going to use up all my watercolour paper for the swap. So I did start with it and then thought, well, that's pretty silly, Cheryl. So I moved over to basic white and I quite like the effect. Now I am going to bring in the dies from the Cute Bug die set. Now, this is them. There's a lot of them. Mine are very messy. They do all fit on the one sheet, but mine are very messy. So we'll need the two sized mushroom stalks and tops, and then there's two little mushroom cap things that go on top. That's all that I'm using out of this particular die set today. So we're going to cut these ones out of the basic beige, and I will need 4 because I'll need 6. So I'll need 3 for each card. I may not have enough, but I do have some other ones cut, so we'll be fine. I'll try and avoid that little ink spot that I have created, and I'm going to do 2 of these while I'm here. So this is the Melon Mambo. I won't need all these, but while I'm running them through, I may as well cut them because I'll need them later. Just run those through the machine. And these ones, and some Melon Mambo. Oops. All right, now I've got to take your pick tool here somewhere, somewhere on this table. There it is. Right, so that's one little stem, and it's got lots of gorgeous texture in it. Lots of those dark splatters are gorgeous. So in my first ones, I didn't actually have the dark splatter, and I did go in and add it with a little a crumb cake stampin' blend. So now I've negated that step. And these are the little tops. But you can move the die around on the paper to get exactly what you want it to look like. But it just has lots of lovely texture. So I'll use this for all my swappy bits. So we'll run through again and do some more mushrooms on here. We'll do some orange in the caps. Now I'll just make sure over here that I've got both sizes because I may have to really squeeze these up. No, I haven't. I've only got small ones. I've got 2 small ones, so I can do 2 large ones. Okay, I've got 2 small ones here. We only actually need 2, so bonus. So I'll just do the large ones because now I've got enough small ones. Then I'll fit them all on that one sheet. I'm sorry, that's our next door neighbour. Here's the motorbike, and it must be his time to go to work. If you can hear that, I don't know if you can hear that motorbike going on. Where is Onstage taking place? In Australia, it's in Sydney, Brenda. So it's a thing. Fiona lives in Sydney, so she is very fortunate. And I'm flying over. from Adelaide. It looks like warts. It does look like warts. And toadstools do have, their little bumps are quite often warty looking. They are look like some sort of growth on them. So I just need one more big one of those. And here's orange, timid tiger. And then we'll do some of the little darling duckling. Our last large one, large toadstool stem. Right. So now we come to putting these mushrooms together. So I'm going to glue them together before I put my white dots on, because yeah, you walk there. That's so handy. So handy, Fiona. Amazing. Right. We've got a little, Jackie and I have a little apartment around the corner, about 2 or 3 blocks away. And the other girls are at the other side. I've just dropped my die. The other girls are on the other side of the Hilton. So it's at the Hilton. Should be nice. Okay, so we'll glue these on. So let's choose what we want. So we need, oh, don't I have enough? I need 2. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. All right, where's that piece of card? Do I have enough left to make a, I don't. I've only got 3. Oh, well, we'll use this one. Use this one. It's got white paint on it already, because I don't think I've got another large one in my little stash of ones that I've, oh, yes, I have. Oh, bonus. There we go. All right, so you can see these don't have the darker dots on them, the ones that I did earlier, so I'll probably add a few more dots to those. So this will be the 3 that we're going to use for these caps. So we'll want 2 large and 1 small. So we'll just shove these ones over the road out there. I'll use those on another one. We'll glue these together first. Now, that was quite, you know, a lot of work, and I may run out of time doing that for all my swaps. So I have an alternative for you. So we'll look at the alternative, shall we? So the paper that I used to die cut that arch was the DS 6x6 Designer Series paper packs. It'll take half an hour, but that's perfect. It'll probably take us half an hour too. See, but that's your daily walk, done and dusted. All right, so we've got all these glued on, ready to go. So these ones, I'm going to use my alternative. Right. So that's those ones ready to have their white dots, and these ones are going to have some white dots. But as an alternative, I used that 6x6 Designer Series paper. Do I have any scraps of it here anywhere? I think so. I'll just show you all my little mushrooms, shall I? That I've got done already. So I've already started to die cut some. So I've die cut some more of the ones of the other paper that I painted. But the 6x6 Designer Series paper has in it, let's see here, some different designs. One of them has this speckledy look on it, which is perfect for the mushroom tops. Perfect, and I don't even have to do all that colouring. The other side has leaves on it, and then there's also another pattern which has stripes on one side and these leaves on the other. So I found this one was perfect to die cut the larger leaves that are going on the one of the cards. So, and I needed the same colour, so they work perfectly. So that makes that step a lot easier for me, and I don't have to do a whole heap of the coloured ones. I'll do some coloured ones just because I like doing it, but as I get short of time, I will probably just use this and die cut them, which I have already. They're not as intense a colour as these ones, as you can see, but I've die cut some already out of Melon Mambo, Granny Apple Green, and I think that's Azure Afternoon. So I've Oh, I need the small one. Where are all those dots? Where are they all? Because I've got 3 large ones there and I need a small one. Just had them, oh, they're right here in front of me. So let's find a small one in one of these colours. I think this one, is this a small one? Yes, so we'll use the blue. Okay, actually we'll use a green if I can find one, because we're using, no, this one. We're not using green in the background now, we're using Shy Shamrock. All right, so we'll go ahead and glue these ones on. That makes it a lot easier. So I've already die cut quite a few of these. So I think should be right. By the time I cut the rest of those sheets of card out, I've probably got enough mushrooms for all my swaps. So it'll just be doing the stems and the background pieces. So what I'll probably do, and this is so typical of Cheryl, is do all of this, any stamping, like for the sentiment, any die cutting, any embossing, put all of the pieces in envelopes and then glue them all together on the plane, at the airport, the night before, in the unit. It's so typically Cheryl. And the girls that come are so used to me roping them in to help. Okay, so you can see that's got lots and lots of texture in it. Let me just zoom in a fraction while I put these dots on. Sorry about my messy desk. Like, I hate it when you get ink all over it. So I'm just going to zoom you in a fraction. Here we go. Well, I put the dots on. Now there's options. You can use white craft ink. And what I do is I've got my white craft ink pad and the refill. And I just pop some ink refill in the top of the pad. And I pick it up with the old dried up blender pens. So this is has a fluid in it, and it's for blending regular water-based ink, and Stampin' Up! Sell them in packs of 3. But they do dry up eventually. The liquid only lasts for so long. They do last a long time, but eventually they dry up, and I just keep them. Some of them I just keep dry to use for basically adding black or another colour, but I mark some with white paint pen, and they're used to dab in here and put dots on, and they're great, and they probably don't soak in as much on, say, let's do a little test. You just go in and add your white dots, but white craft ink does have the habit of drying. It fades back as it dries, and so that's a double job for me, because then I have to go back in, and once they're dry I have to add more colour to the dots. The second layer is fine because it's got a base now to sit on, but the first layer will tend to dry back. So, but that's a really easy way to add them. So I thought, why don't I use the same paint pen that I used on here and see if that works any better. So it's not a Stampin' Up! Product. It is, well, I may not use it because it looks like I've lost it. You know, the regular, the normal. Here it is. This is a Sharpie paint pen, and it's got a little thing, and that presses in and lets a lot of ink out. But you have to be a bit careful, because you end up, if you let a lot of ink out, do it off the mushroom, because otherwise you end up with a really big white dot like that one, which I don't like. So if you're going to get the pen to flow again, then do it off the mushroom. So I'm just gonna, it does need to be a little bit flowy, so I'll do it off the page over here. So my big dot ends up over here. And then, and I did find with this one, because the craft will definitely fade back on the inked mushrooms. Probably not so much on the DSP ones. And then you can just add lots of little white dots. Now it does take a little while to dry, so does the craft ink, but they just make different sized white dots, which is what I'm going to do these ones with this one. So these already have some white texture on, but I didn't think it was enough to, I'll just get that flowing again. I don't think that was enough to resemble the white dots that are on these, so don't have to do too many, just like that. So the other thing that I did pull out, and I thought if you want something that doesn't fade back. Now I haven't actually used this because I didn't get a chance. Oh yes, I tell a lie, I did. Okay, these are the ones I did earlier, and these should be dry, but they're not. And I can't put them on now because I can't glue them onto my mushroom, but I did them earlier to try them. This is the white acrylic paint. They have not faded back at all. So I just had them sitting up here. So they haven't faded back at all. So if you have white acrylic paint, just regular white acrylic paint, I've got a daub on here which I eventually got out, and I'm going to use my little blending brush, and it makes them quite thick. They will take a while to dry. And I like them to be sort of slightly different sizes. So some of them I just put really tiny dots, and some of them are a little bit heavier. But that's a bit thicker, so it doesn't fade back, but it will take a little minute to dry. I'll dry them with my heat tool. Another little one down here. So we'll do these two. And then we've got all our little white dots on our mushrooms. So that is probably going to be the most time-consuming thing for me, is putting all the white dots on the mushrooms and then setting them aside to dry. So that's why I've gone ahead and die cut all of my mushroom caps, so that can be my next job, and they will all be dry and ready to put on to the card. So I'm aiming for about 60 of these. We'll see how I go. I've been very what do you call it when you're enthusiastic? When you think something's going to be okay. I've die cut the card bases for them for 60, so we'll see how we go. All right, so that is my white little caps all done. Now they do have to dry, so I am going to have to dry them with a heat tool. But what we'll do is we'll just set them aside, whichever ones they're going to go on. I'm not quite sure. Can't remember. But anyway, we'll put those ones over in this corner and those ones over in this corner. So they're the ones I inked. So you can see they're a brighter. These are still bright, but they're just different. But you know, will work. Will work. Now, the other thing that we need to do is, now that we know what colours we've done our mushrooms in, so this is the imperial sizing this time, we need to add something into the base of this arch. So I'm going to do some stamping, and I'm going to do the stamping in the same colour as this paper. So let me zoom you out a fraction and grab a Shy Shamrock. Can't believe I've waited this long to use Shy Shamrock like this. So I pulled out the Nature's Symphony bundle. So this is the stamp set, and there's this lovely great big leafy image. There's also this little texture image which we're going to use as well. So I want to add some colouring to this, and I'm going to use the Shy Shamrock, so the same colour, and I'm going to add my shading to it first from the bottom, and I'm going to ombre it up. Now I've got a lot of ink here, so I don't want to transfer those colours. So I'm just going to pull in a little scrap piece of grid paper that I can work on. We'll start at the bottom and just work our way up. So quite dark at the bottom, and we'll ombre it up towards the top. Dreaming, that could be it. Dreaming. Is your Sharpie oil paint, pen oil paint? I'm not sure. I'll have a look in a minute, Brenda. I thought it was just a paint pen, which I believe is water-based. So it's very, very faint up at the top. quite a bit darker down the bottom. Just like that. Yeah, dreaming is probably it, Fiona. I do a lot of dreaming. Things always take way more time than I anticipate they will. I need this ink pad back again because I'm going to stamp my leaves. I plan things and I set them all out and I do my little calendar, block them all in, and then the very first thing takes me twice the amount of time that I thought. So I've inked that up and I'm going to stamp it full strength, something in here like that. Da-da-da. And then I'll need to do my texture in the background. Now I'm going to, what colours am I using? This is the Imperial. So I'm going to, I've got Azure Afternoon here, which I don't have that ink pad. I'm just going to go and grab it. I did have it, I took it away. So I'm pretty sure that's Azure Afternoon. Looks like it, doesn't it? So I'm going to do the texture with a different colour just to break it up a little bit. So I've got the texture stamp from that Nature Symphony, but I am going to stamp it off so it's not quite so in your face. So we'll just do a few around the place. Something like that, and then we'll do one double stamped off up here so it's imitating the fading off of the ombre through there like that. And then we are ready to put this over the top like that. So now I'm going to grab my dimensionals. Now I think I've used all the edges already. You could use the strips, but that's a little bit higher than regular dimensional. So I'm just going to use dimensionals. Now, don't cringe here, but I will use a few because normally I would put strips all the way around the edge. So I will use quite a few just to make sure that it all sort of stays up where it should be. So some people are, is that going to fit in there? Yes, just. Some people don't use a lot of dimensionals and that's all good. I might have to cut some of these in half. They just fit. If you're using the edges, they're a little bit skinnier, so it does work a little better. So in the end, I may have to, I've got lots of dimensionals here, but I'm going to have all these packs of dimensionals with no strips around the edge. Yes, Fiona, it's very, I think we're all a little bit alike really, aren't we? We all plan all this stuff and then just everything goes a bit pear-shaped. So let us grab all the backs off these. I'm going to do it with my... There's various different ways to do this. There's this way, and I always muck it up. Always. End up with big holes in my dimensionals because it won't come off. So in the end, and then Sharon Norman told me to dig my fingernail in and that raises the edge, which makes it easier to lift. So I do that sometimes. Very haphazard with my debacking my dimensionals. They get everywhere. Oops, that one's already off. Okay, so now I've made this a little bit smaller, so it should be quite easy to just line up and not have any edges showing. Okay, oops, what happened there? Oh, look how close I was there. I've actually got to cut that off. Oh, gosh, Cheryl. Maybe I should have done it up the other way. so that I could have seen the back. I'm just going to cut that off so you don't see it. God, those ones are showing. Needed to be a lot more over that way. That's okay. Still works as long as nobody picks it up and goes, oh, look what she's done there. That's going to go onto here, but do we need it? No, this is straight down onto there. Okay, so we'll just get that on there, shall we? Because otherwise I'm going to stick this to something, and it's going to go down flat onto our embossed background. Oops. Klutzy crafter. Here she is again. I'll try and get that straight. I'm going to blame the acrylic paint on my glasses. Oops, if it's not straight. Fee, you probably weren't on to start with, but I opened that tube of acrylic paint that has been sitting in my cupboard for a long time, and it was blocked, and I was trying to unblock it, and I squeezed a little bit too hard, and I'm looking down at it, and it just went everywhere. It's all in my hair, it's on my glasses, on my computer, on my microphone, all over the projects that I had set up ready to go. It's everywhere. All right, so that's that one done. Now for the other one, we need to choose which colour we're going to blend this background. So these are the colours that I'm using, and we've got Summer Splash that they're going to be sitting on. Oops, now don't touch the white ink, Cheryl. So I'm thinking maybe, what colour would be best? I'm thinking maybe the orange. So that's Timid Tiger. So we'll grab the Timid Tiger. Get back up there. And the brush that I was using for Timid Tiger, which no idea what it, here it is. All right, and we will grab that block that I was using earlier. Oh, it's got a lot of ink on it already. It's got water on it. I might just get rid of that. Right. I think I worked straight off my ink pad for the Shy Shamrock. I'll get a slap on the wrist from myself. Right, and so we're going to do the same thing as we did for the small piece, just work up the page. Yeah, got ink everywhere here. White ink everywhere. That was from when I was cleaning up in a huge panic. So we'll just ombre it up, probably not as far as I did the other one. Make it nice and soft at the top. And then make this bit down here a bit darker. Okay. Looks like a nice sunset in the background. Make it quite dark along the bottom, make it look like a real ombre. So once you get your ink down, it's a lot easier to blend with. Just make sure I don't get fingerprints everywhere. Then when it first goes down. Okay, so that's a nice ombre background. Now, I did this originally and I didn't think there was enough going on in the background. So I pulled out the original very first ones that I started working on. I was splattering with water on backgrounds, and I thought, this is going to take too long and is a little bit too unknown. So I pulled out Coneflower Celebrations, and it's got this great splatter image in it. So I've got it on a block here. I'm going to use the, you know what? I think that was pumpkin pie. Did you girls notice that? Because I'm just finding my Timid Tiger right at the bottom of the list. So Barb is saying, do you know what colours are retiring? Being in Brisbane 3 weeks, I have no clue and no money after swapping accommodation 3 times. Retiring colours are the Shy Shamrock that we're using here, which is a greeny colour. Summer Splash, which is a beautiful turquoisey blue colour. I don't have that out here. What else? The pinky purpley colour, which is called something, Petunia Pop. Pretty in Pink, sadly, is going to be finishing, which is a lovely pink colour. And what's the last one, Fiona? What's that last colour? I can't remember. I had them all out the other day. So Summer Splash, Pretty in Pink, Shy Shamrock, Petunia Pop, and first prize to who knows the last in colour that's retiring. All right, so I'm going to add this down here. I'm going to add some dark and just some light, some stamped off. Peach pie. Thank you, Brenda. Yay, Brenda gets the prize. Peach pie. That's another one that I use a lot. So we'll just add bits of splatter around the place. How does that look? Let me see. It's going to go down in the corner here. Maybe just a little bit more here, stamped off. That'll do. So that's a cheat's way of adding some splatter, even though it's now over pumpkin pie, but we'll just ignore that. And then I'm going to add some leaves. Now I did die cut some leaves. What did I do with them? And I'm using the same colour as the base. And it's floating around here somewhere. It's Shy Shamrock. Oh, here it is inside this card. So I have die cut these leaves. These are out of the Nature Symphony. This is a beautiful die. I'm going to cut it in half because it didn't quite work. One's going to go up here and one's going to go down here. And then this is going to sit there like that. So let's get these down and on. We'll glue this onto our card front. First, actually, I'll just glue these on to start with. Right, so I'm probably smearing all the dots here. These poor mushrooms are getting shoved around up the top here. Okay, let's glue these on. So just a little bit of glue. These leaves have slits in them. So you do have to be a little careful not to overload them with glue because the glue will come through the slits. They actually are cut all the way up the middle of the leaf, and then all the little veins are also have little slits that go cut all the way through. So just see, that's a lot of glue. That'll probably come through. Just little dots. We'll just add that one. I mean, this is totally different to the other one that I did. This is going to go up on dimensionals and it's going to sit about here. So because it's going on dimensionals, I will glue this onto my card front first. Here we go. And let us just add a bit of glue here. Onto our card front. So what's your guesstimate for how long it'll take me to make 60 of these? I've got a couple of other projects that I've got to do that I have to have done before I go for some blog hops that I'm involved in that happen next week. And I say to myself, oh, well, if I make the projects and photograph them, then I can actually blog them while I'm traveling. I've filled up my 3 days before Onstage with everything. So I'm heading over to Sydney on Monday, Fiona. I'm staying with my sister-in-law. She is in Coogee, I think. And then I'm going to Tracy's place, another good friend of mine. and I can't remember what suburb she's in, but not that far away, I don't think. Right, so this is going to go on here, something like that, down in the corner, and then we can start to think about gluing our little mushrooms on. So that's what we've got so far. So I was tempted to blend this embossed background as well, but I refrained because I thought, you know, you're just getting a bit too many steps, Cheryl, as I normally do. Now I do need a piece of white card. So bring this in here. I'm going to stamp my sentiments. Stop smearing your mushrooms, Cheryl. Maybe I'll get rid of this paper now because look, they're just everywhere. And I'm going to use the banner sayings. It's got all these cute little sayings in it which fit all these little banner shapes in this punch. It's got paint all over it. So I really love, and thank you to Jackie. I don't think Jackie's on today, but Jackie for enabling me to get this one. Consider yourself hugged. That is such a cute little sentiment. So, and that is perfect for Onstage because that's what we do, isn't it? So what colours will I use for my sentiment? I'm going to go a different colour to the Shy Shamrock, but one of the colours of the mushrooms. So what did we end up with over here? I've mixed them all up now. I am such a dill. But the orange sort of, I think, will work. So we'll use Timid Tiger for this one. And what colours were in the other one? I can't even remember which ones I'm putting them on now. So we'll do, I'll do it this way. I think that'll fit. Will it fit? Let me have a quick look. Yeah, as long as I get it in the middle. That one that way. We'll turn this around because this cuts out 3 bits, so I don't really want to do them too close. And this, so that's going to have, doing them the opposite way around. So 1, 2, and a melon mambo one which is hiding over here getting squashed. I'm surprised none of these have smeared the amount of mucking around I've done. This was the one with the big dot that I didn't want, so this is the other colours. So we can't do orange because there's no orange in that. What about pink? Melon mambo for this one. Just clean that block off a little bit. Stamp this one up here. How cute is that sentiment? Now, let's punch those out with that little punch. Now, my only advice here is do not use tiny scraps of paper because they get jammed. I tried to be use up all my little tiny narrow scraps that I had left, and the punch just gets jammed. So I think because it's got 3 punches, 3 different banner shapes in it. So you end up with these ones which you could keep and use somewhere else. There's one, we'll do this one. Ta-da! Right. Another little one I can keep for Ron. This one's going to go on here, so we'll put those mushrooms on here and these mushrooms on here. So are they dry enough? Do I need to quickly dry them with a heat tool or have they dried? They need a little bit of a dry. So just excuse me for a sec while I put the heat tool on again and dry those, because otherwise, you know, I'm going to put my fingers in them for sure. So I can't even remember what I used on what now. But I will just give them all a quick little blast. And hopefully they'll be dry enough that I won't smear them as I'm gluing them on. This was the one I did with the white craft ink on the designer series paper, and it actually hasn't faded back all that much. I think because it's on the designer series paper, but it's nowhere near as intense as, say, that one. So I probably will have to go and add some to it once it's on the card. You could, or I could, when I'm doing the other ones, put them all together and then leave the white dots until the very, very end. hot. Then you've got full cards sitting around drying, whereas at least if you only have the mushrooms sitting around, they take up far less room. So doing them all beforehand is my aim. I might have to enlist the help of my husband. But I think the paint pen is going to win out for me because it's easier and it does seem to be just as bright as the acrylic paint. The acrylic paint makes more textured blobs. You can see, I don't know if you can see, this one was the acrylic paint. And can you see how they are standing up a little bit? So they're probably still wet. So I have to be careful. Right, let us organise them again. So much for my, keeping the metric over here and the... Right, so I've got this one. So these go on. I'm going to put the pink one here, then the green one, and then the blue one, I think. Maybe this way. No, I like pink up there for some reason. No real reason why. I'm going to put this is why they need to be dry, because you're going to be fiddling around. So I'm going to put a dimensional on here. I'm trying not to touch the front just in case they're not dry. So that's why I look so, awkward. Hello, Elizabeth. Are you a mushroom fan too? I'm going to put some glue on here. And I've got one little dimensional on there. I'm just going to grab my other card so I can sort of roughly see where they go. Just something like that. She says putting her fingers all over the little white dots. Just make sure that's stuck down. Then we'll do the green one. So the green one will need a dimensional on this side because it sits in here. Dimensionals. Yeah. Sharon will be going mad at me. Stop waving your hands around, because it sends everything haywire with the focus. All right. I am trying to not touch the white dots, just in case. It does make me look a lot klutzy. Oops. I'll just put this one down here like that. And then the little blue one, oh, I like these colours together. Goes down the bottom, and it doesn't need any dimensionals. It's just liquid glue. Oops, a lot of liquid glue there. So yeah, normally I would not do this, holding these up in the air. Now the sentiment's going to go over the top of the stems, so you sort of get a bit of a second chance if glue doesn't hit the mark there. And then we'll put this one down here. I think I'm a bit lower than the other one. It's okay. Stay down. And then the sentiment goes over here. Like that. Now I'm going to, is that glued? I'm going to glue that on with some glue dots. I'm sorry for the silence. I'm looking for stuff. Looking for my take your pick tool. There it is. So I'm going to put one dimensional. I don't really want one there. So we've got the height of these bits of card underneath here. So I'm going to put my dimensionals and I'm going to sort of double them up in a cigar shape. Like that. I'm going to put another one on top of that, because it's not the height of a dimensional. It's just the height of a couple of sheets of card, really. And then I might put a dimensional underneath here, because these aren't sticking. That. And do I need another dimensional holding it down? Oh, not dimensional, glue dot holding it down there. I might just put one here, and then that way, where are they? I'll squidge it up a bit. It's just going to sit there. We'll put one on top. Right. So the reason that I'm just doing that is because I do like my things to be straight. So just going to pop that down there. And it just gives that sentiment a little bit of extra dimension to hold it up the same height as these bits of card here. And that's that one. Let's pull in this one that needs to have the mushrooms and the sentiment on it. So we'll go with now this one's the one that's got all the acrylic paint on. Oh, how nice are these colours together? Love this one. I'm going to have so much fun with all the different colours. Why do I do it to myself? I do not know. Oh, that's my tummy, sorry. Saying, it's just like my dog saying, time to eat. Okay, so we want this one roughly around about here. Then this one. Focus, focus. Yes, focus, Cheryl. You wave your hands around like an Italian woman and everything goes out of focus. Right. Now this one can go down over here. And then this little one, which has dots I have to be very careful of, goes underneath. You are a fan of mushrooms. Thank you, Elizabeth. Yes, they're so cute. Gone a little bit skewish with this one. That's okay. Get him down and get him stuck without smearing the dots. So I've added my dots, Elizabeth, with either white craft ink, which sometimes fades back, and because I'm doing these for swaps and doing multiples of them, that's going to be time consuming, so I investigated other ways. Well, that's drying. Let's have a look. This is a Sharpie paint pen. It is, what does it say? Shake well. Probably needed to do that. It's water-based. So it's a water-based Sharpie. So probably much like the craft ink, just a little bit thicker, I would say. And then we also tried acrylic paint. I had a bit of an accident with the acrylic paint this morning. Thank you so much, Brenda. Because it's fun and relaxing. Yes, you're right, Fee. I love those colours. Oh, okay, so this one we're going to do, it's across here, but again, we've got the multiple stems, so we will do some multiple height. And this one doesn't matter where they go, because the whole thing's sitting on the panel. Now, I'm not doing the insides today. They will breathe a sigh of relief, because I won't do insides for these. I will just put the information about the card somewhere, probably on the inside, so that whoever gets them can just cover it over with an insert and use them. Again, use the cards for something. Consider yourself hugged. Love that. Just place that down on there. That's not quite straight. Nothing's ever quite straight with me. It's the acrylic paint on my glasses. That's why it's not straight. So there we go. So now the only thing I needed to ask is, do you think it needs embellishments? or are they just good just like that? I did pull out some embellishments. I have a lot of the frosted dots that came from the, I don't even know where I put them. Oh, here we go. I did pull out these ones. These are on the last, I don't even know if they're still on the last chance list. They were on the last chance list at the end of February. The frosted iridescent dots, which are really good, and I've got quite a lot of them. Probably not enough for all the cards, but I've got a lot of them. Got 2 sheets. But see, they're really good because the colours changed, you know, depending on what you put them on. See, it looks orange on there, but if you put it on there, it looks green. They are amazing. Even the green ones look like Shy Shamrock. So we could put some embellishments on them, or we could, hello Lauren, how are you? Thank you so much. So yeah, I could put some embellishments on there. So what do you think? Should I or should I not? Should I just go with really simple and save myself some time? So these are the other ones. So they're the 2 I did in the metric sizing. And these are the 2 that I've done in the imperial sizing. Do they all fit on the page? They do. What a lovely field of mushrooms. I do think this is my favourite. I love those colours together. But you can see the ones that I actually inked, which are these 2, are a little bit brighter than the ones I cut out of designer series paper. So, you know, that's why I'll probably try and do some that I've inked myself rather than just the designer series paper. But the designer series paper certainly is going to be a time saver for me. I've already done all these little mushroom caps. I probably won't have to use all those. So I will be playing around with those, getting them dotted, ready to go onto cards. So yeah, so usually I would stick them to the toadstool stem first, but I've done some already with the dots that are dried, and they're not on but they're dried now, so they'll be able to glue on quite easily. So yeah, so that's my jobs for the rest of the day, is doing more of the mushrooms. So how are we going? You love them? Great, Barb. Thank you, Fiona. Thank you, everyone, for coming in. Yes, I'm very, very happy. Now, I'm going to try and find my face. Let me try and find my face, shall I? Over here, so I can come back and say goodbye. Where are we? Face. It's called face. It's not going there. There we go. So thank you all for coming along today. I have had such fun, and do let me know in the comments if you think I should add embellishments. I will think about that, whether I should or not. But they're probably quite nice just the way they are. And I really am looking forward to catching up with a few of you at Onstage. That's going to be so much fun, although the next 4 days are going to be, well, it's actually 7 days to Onstage, but I've got 4 days here at home before I leave, so I'm going to be up to here in mushrooms. Now, I will not be live next week because I'll be at Onstage. I will try and get a video done that will go live at the same time, a recorded video. That may not happen. Maybe I'll just do a fun little one and show you all the swaps that I finished before I go. We'll see what happens, but I'll try and put something up for the same time next week. And then the week after, I'll actually probably be up in Queensland at Colleen's place, but Colleen is pretty much set up for videoing, so I may be able to go live from there. We'll see what happens, but if you don't see me, you'll know things got out of control and I didn't get to it, and I will then see you at the end of March when I get back. So the week that I get back is the 24th or 25th, I think, something like that. So the end of that week. And I will see you then. So thank you so much. I didn't do any homework before we started today. I was in such a frazzle after the white paint went everywhere, and I still have to go and clean it this side out of my hair. Yeah, everywhere. But other than that, I don't think there was anything else in my homework that I didn't do that I have to tell you. Nope. So have a good week, couple of weeks. So take lots of photos, says Barb. I certainly will try. Thanks, V. We'll see you soon. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Barb. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Lauren, for dropping in. And also Elizabeth. It was lovely to see you. Thanks, girls. Oh, I will tell you, I am behind with my tutorial from last week's live. So I will do both of these together and send them out in one newsletter, probably on Sunday night. So look out for that in your inboxes if you're signed up for the newsletter. Okay, thanks, girls.